Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, trying. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Tuesday, May 27th. The microphone thing, I will say, is just the fact that I took a day off. So I give myself a long weekend. I don't even know how to start the show. But we are back and better than ever. Hopefully you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend. We had a fun one in the Randazzo household. A 3-day weekends are always fun. So hopefully you guys had a great weekend. You're well rested, ready to now tackle a shortened week when it comes to the work week here in the Quad Cities. If you're watching live on YouTube, we appreciate that. If you're subscribing, thank you. Up over 1,000 subscribers, getting close to 1,100, which is really cool as well. So if you have subscribed, thank you. If you have not, shame on you. Go do that ASAP. We're also live on X as always, and then you can always check us out on all the podcasting platforms as well. Spotify, Apple, Podbean, you name it, we should be out there. If there's a podcasting platform that you cannot find off the air, let me know. We'll make sure we get on it as soon as possible, but I think I got everything taken care of. It was a busy Memorial Day weekend in the world of sports, especially locally. Tons of great spring sports action, postseason in full swing. And I remember when I was at WQAD, I always would ask, like, what's the busiest time of year for you? And everyone would assume, like, football season, maybe March Madness. This right now is the busiest time of year for high school sports. It's fantastic. State track on both sides of the river. The boys go to state in Illinois next weekend, coming up down in Charleston. But you got postseason softball, postseason baseball, soccer on both sides. Just tons of stuff. Golf, tennis, all that great stuff. So tons of great stuff. Congratulations to all the athletes that had big Memorial Day weekends. It was a big one in state track in Charleston and in Des Moines. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. Joining me in a matter of moments will be Assumption track coach Tim O'Neill, wrapping up his 25th and final year at Assumption. Just got done. One of his standouts had a great weekend. Watched another one of his standouts in Joy Mediger now, not Ripslinger, but Mediger, entering the Hall of Fame. So he had a good weekend up in Des Moines. We're going to be joined by him in a matter of moments to talk about the legacy and the program that's been built at Assumption High School. That's in just a few minutes. And coming up later in the show, I'm really excited about this one. We know the pipeline between the Quad Cities and the NFL. We've had several standouts from the Quad Cities make it and do great things in the NFL, but we've also had great coaches as well. And one of them right now is with the Detroit Lions. Josh Schuler, a Muscatine grad, is the head strength and conditioning coach for the Detroit Lions. Obviously a little biased, huge Lions fan, but really good dude. We caught up with him. We're going to chat with him coming up a little bit later in the show as well about his journey from Muscatine, Iowa to the NFL. And then, of course, we'll talk Detroit Lions football, which is a little biased on my part, but a lot of fun. Also, in the second hour of the show, former Assumption, we might as well be sponsored by Assumption High School today, but a former Assumption standout, former Hawkeye, Super Bowl champion Jake Dervass will be along to talk about his Rally for Reid camp that's coming up 1 month from today. So we'll talk about that, how you guys can get involved, how to get you guys signed in and all that kind of stuff as well. So a lot more to get to with that coming up in just a little bit. But few news and notes before we start today's show. And in the world of the WNBA, news came yesterday, Caitlin Clark will now be out 2 weeks minimum with an injury, a strained quad. So we'll see how the Fever adjusts to that. Of course, the WNBA right now, one of the biggest things going, Caitlin Clark, a huge reason for that. So we'll see how they do as well. And we talked State Track, a lot of state champions on both sides of the river. One of them on the Illinois side I want to talk about. We'll talk about them throughout the week as well. But West Carroll's Emma Randecker won the 100 meters down in Charleston for the second straight year, set a state record as well in 1A. So congratulations to her. All the track standouts that did big things this past weekend when it comes to the world of track and field. But we're joined now. We start the show off with a familiar face. Assumption is, are you officially still the track coach, or is it, you got to get through the banquet and everything first, right?
Yeah.
So Tim O'Neill joins me right now. First and foremost, thanks for making the drive on a Tuesday. Hopefully it was a decent drive today, right?
Not bad at all. Not bad.
All right, wonderful. First off, congratulations, wrapping up your 25th season. I think 25.
Yep, 25.
We'll kind of talk about like some of the beauty parts of it as well throughout, but I want to talk and focus on this past weekend. To watch your standouts go up there, what was it like, I guess, before we talk about how you guys did, to go up to state one last time as a head track coach? And obviously there's probably emotions of excitement, but then also kind of letting it all sink in as well.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it was cool. It was one of those, you try to prepare yourself, but you really can't. There's those, sunglass moments, and I just did a lot of trying to take it all in and just enjoyed seeing all my coaching colleagues and taking a lot of selfies and just hanging out with them and celebrating our kids, their kids, and just everything about it.
I know it's cliche, but it's always special every time you go up there. Can you talk to that? Because you can have success, and we'll talk about what you guys have done in the past, but each team's different, each event's different. It's always special to get up there to the Blue Oval, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think trying to prepare your kids for, you do all the training, you prepare them for the moments, and then you just hope that you've done enough as a coach to help them get to where they need to be. And then, when you see at any given session anywhere from 10 to 14,000 fans, it gets different really quick for a lot of kids. And, you talk about it, but then, they get a chance to finally experience it. And, some of them do great, some of them don't. There's always the excitement and they surprise you. There's always some disappointments. It's just kind of those ebbs and flows of the State Track and Field Championships.
Let's talk about this week, and we'll talk about the actual on the track stuff as well. And Kelly, who's been on the show here with us when she did great things at Drake, we talked to her about, hey, it'd be great to win some state championships. That was the plan. Well, mission accomplished. Won the 1, won the 2, I think second in the 4. Mm-hmm. What'd you see from Kelly? And obviously to watch her shine, which everything she's gone through, we talked about in the show as well, but the injury and all those kind of things, you had to be just thrilled for her.
Yeah, super exciting. She went and just let it fly in the prelims on Thursday, broke 2 state records in the 1 and the 2, which were also school records, and then broke a school record in the 400 and got second place, and just ran incredible.
What we see what she does on the track, but talk about her and what she's had to go through with the injuries and those kind of things. And those are things that you've gotten to watch for the last quarter century of everyone sees the actual competitions, but it's, to me, and covering it too, it's the stories behind the stories. And she had to go through injury and all that kind of stuff to get back to where she's at right now.
Yeah. I mean, you have a young lady who danced her entire life, and it's like, hey, you love this. We get it. Every time you're doing this at a high level, something bad has happened here, and you've got something really special going on here. Not that we ever want to talk a kid out of doing something that they love. I mean, we have so many multi-sport kids, and even the same season, it's just like at some point, you just got to look in the mirror and be like, okay, hey, maybe this changes a little bit different. Maybe it just evolves. So I think that was the hard thing for, to get her to realize sometimes too. And then, you might have to take a step back from something else, and if you really want to do this, and she was able to do that.
It was, you have your nights of the day and Kelly and the athletes that were up there. But then for you, especially, we talked to Joy Ripslinger or Mediger last week. Do you know how many Hall of Famers you've coached off the top of your head?
Right now, 2 that are in the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union.
Okay, so it's Rose and
Rose.
Rose.
Yes, and then we have a coaches association that I think a lot of them will be coming down the pipe when their time's up, ready to go.
Gotcha. to catch up with Joy. We caught up with her last week, and it's crazy. I said to her last week, I'm like, you're not supposed to be 26. You're not supposed to be. I mean, it seems like yesterday she was just winning 9 state titles and all that kind of stuff. So talk what it was like to see her go into the Hall of Fame. And then I'm assuming for you, it wasn't just like reliving the glory days. It was just seeing Joy again.
Yeah, a lot of it. What's funny is she got married recently. So I was out on a walk and I saw this body from, half a block away. I'm like, is that Joy? It's just you watch kids move and I'm like, yeah, they're her. And I got a chance to meet her husband at that time. And then so we got caught up, a couple months ago. And then to do that, she came out, spoke to our team on Friday night. It was awesome. It was good. Her whole family was there and it was a special moment for her.
To know that you're coaching Hall of Famers, is that a moment where it's obviously it's very cool, but does it make you feel old? Does it make you like those kind of things? Because it's like, doesn't it seem like yesterday she was doing those kind of things?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you start looking at it, it's like, oh man, like a memory popped up on my phone. I was like, hey, that was 10 years ago. That was when she was in high school. So it's like, yikes. But I mean, I was a pup. I was a baby when I got the job. I was 22 years old. And so, here I am, 46, about to turn 47. And, I'm already wrapping up this part of my career. So yeah, it does start to make me, I shaved off my grays a little bit before I got here today. So it didn't look so bad on TV, but yeah, so.
Thank you for shaving. That's very nice. I don't know if I even did or not. That's the beauty part of the new gig. I want to talk to you about the other stuff that happened in Des Moines, and I want to talk about your career, but, Pleasant Valley, a MAC team, and obviously tons of respect for what Kenny does over there as well. They took second as a team. Great to see for that. Their 4x800 is awesome. They took second as well. When you're up there and you see, you want this area to do well, don't you? You're rooting for the other MAC and conference teams in the eastern side of the state, aren't you?
Absolutely. Look, if they're doing a good job over there, if we want to meet that standard, or if we're doing well, they want to meet our standard, and Bettendorf and other schools around, look, if you want to be good at this sport, you better keep up with the Joneses. And they're certainly one of those programs that's in that conversation year in and year out. Absolutely.
The one thing that I stood out to me, and I'm always checking in on local standouts and all that kind of stuff. Had a close eye on Kelly and how she was doing, Pleasant Valley, those kind of things. Always checking. It's funny because I miss it. Like that's and if any of my former coworkers, Corey knows, and if Celia or Greg or anybody like that, we would always split it up. Like we would go like Thursday. I would usually get Thursday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, one of us would always go, and all that kind of stuff. So you miss it, and it's a fun thing. But the Quentin Nauman, is that his name?
Yep.
So first kid ever to finish under 4 in the mile, and then his 800 was stupid. Kind of talk about what he did, and in fact, I'm going to try to through the. I think we got a little video. If I'm not mistaken, and yeah, you're still up and going, but this is him finishing the mile. One of those moments for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there 15,000 people just screaming, standing. Typically that's a place where everybody sits, everybody sees. That's the rule. When something like that happens, everybody stands and everybody's just going nuts. It was pretty cool, pretty awesome. I had a kid in the race, so it's hard to watch. I got a kid that's running his best time of the season. He has a 5-6 second PR, but I keep peeking to the front because I want to see it. And it was pretty amazing. Very, very talented young man.
What is it? And you mentioned those hair-raising moments. That was one of them, wasn't it? And it's cool because you mentioned 15,000 people standing and cheering, and that's the cool thing about track. Sometimes is that everybody appreciates everybody. Mm-hmm. So you didn't have to be was Western Dubuque? Is
Yep.
that where he's from?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to be a Western Dubuque fan to appreciate that. One of those moments you'll kind of always remember?
Yeah, I mean the one that people aren't seeing and isn't getting overly talked about is he ran in the distance medley on Friday. He anchored in 1:47 and change. That was the one where the true track junkies are like, that's different. And you look at, you see it, and then you just see how he does it. And then, there's other kids that are almost equally as talented in that same race. And, people will remember him for pacing it for a short amount of time. And then all of a sudden he just goes out and just runs out of his mind. So he's only a junior. So he's got more to come too. So
it's crazy. You mentioned track junkies. how do you, as somebody who's gone up to it a ton of times, and I'm sure you have a lot of respect for it, so not bashing it as anyway, but how Iowa does it with the co-ed state track meet? Because here we are, and Corey and I had always looked at WQAD, and it's like, girls in Charleston, and then the boys. Do you like the way they do Iowa? Do you like the way they structure it with everybody up there at one time and all those kind of things?
Well, I do, because I'm a co-ed coach, so it helps me. I mean, my first couple of years, my first year I was just the boys coach, so we were going up there just for the boys meet, and then there was a couple of years where it was a couple weekends in a row, and then when they combined it, I mean, the attendance record, I think they showed it was 40,800. Nobody in any other sports in this state is playing in front of those type of crowds.
Yeah.
Even the 5A football state champs, it might rival that, but it's incredible. And when the weather's nice, it's every single day. And if you're one of the later events from the morning session, so we were the morning session, right? So 2A, 3A go in the morning. When 1A and 4A come rolling in, there's people just waiting to get into seats. I mean, there's a lot of people in that stadium. And so, for Kelly example, in the 400, there were so many people in the stadium on Thursday, early afternoon. It was incredible. It's fun.
No, I love how they do it. So going down memory lane, 25 years, and you said 22 years old when you started it.
Yeah.
When your dumbass came in there as a 22-year-old, did you think you would have the success? If I told you when you were 47 you'd be leaving after a quarter of a century with what you've had, what would you have thought of? What do you know now that you would love to tell that 22-year-old now?
Ooh, good question. Well, I would tell you this, that my confidence was very high. So if you'd have told me that you weren't going to have this kind of success, I would have said, you're nuts. I've been doing that out of spite my entire life.
Was really high or still is kind of high?
Well, I mean, when you see ebbs and flows, I mean, certainly I hate, this word gets used a lot, but blessed. I had incredible coaches. I can count on one hand, probably a couple fingers, the number of bad coaches I had in my entire career. But what I did is I had a lot of teammates that came from bad programs. And I was lucky. I was at Assumption. I had great coaching.
Yeah.
And so when I would be at, some of my teammates would say things, I'd be like, what do you mean? You didn't know that? So I always thought, if I ever got into coaching, I never wanted to be that coach that a kid would say, my coach sucked, or my coach was bad, or my coach didn't know what they're doing. So I was just a sponge to try to find out whatever knowledge, whatever information I could acquire. I wanted to talk to good coaches. What do you do? How do you do different? And a guy that was a mentor of mine was Ira Dunsworth. He sat me in his living room, said, there's no secrets in this. There's no magic bullets. And there isn't. The information is out there. It's all there. Everybody can get it, but then you just have to acquire, how to deliver that. It's the art of coaching. And that's the difference is, the information's there, go find it, go seek it out, and then take that, have reference points, and then apply it to your kids. And then that's the beauty of coaching right there, is trying to figure out what to do, and then how to get that message for your kids to believe in.
Some of the resume is 5 state titles, 5 in a row, 3 runner-up finishes as a team, a 3rd place in there as well. I don't even want to begin to count how many individual state champions that you've gotten to coach. And I think you'll be the first to say one of the common themes of all of this is that, and we use the word blessed again, but some of the names that have gone through Assumption and the talent. I mean, obviously coaching is one thing, but talk about the talent that you've gotten to be part of. And when you hear that resume and 5, 3, 1, all that kind of stuff, what goes through your mind?
Great families. And I think that, the buzzword of culture, and I've always used this analogy of, you hear getting on the same page. Well, my best teams, and it starts with home. We weren't just on the same page, but we were in the same paragraph, on the same sentence. We were in the same words, but we would never got to the point where we were on the same letter. And that was always that goal, is how do we get on the same letter? And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of people to bring in to believe what you're doing. And, what do you do? And the message from coach is different from the message from mom and dad at home. How do you resolve that conflict with a teenage kid? And that was always, I thought, the challenge, and it was one that I was ready to face head on. So there was a lot of difficult conversations throughout 25 years, some of which I didn't want to hear, and some of which mom and dad didn't want to hear. And a lot of most of the time the kids know, and track's pretty objective, right? But it's not always the fastest kids run all the time. When you've got really good relays, for us being a 3A school at the Drake Relays, that's somewhat of a more important meet for us than a 4A school at a state meet, because we're going to probably we want to race everybody, and we want to race the best. So but I didn't necessarily have to always have my 4 best kids. Now, it would have been nice with weather and time. Of those times that we were chasing, I'll use the Pleasant Valley girls 4x800. I had a faster collaborative with my 4 girls, but I couldn't get them on the track at the same time. And then we tried to chase a time at nationals. Well, I think it was Mallory King, 3 days state soccer, 100-degree weather.
Yeah.
She was fried. So we got out there a week later, and she gave it everything she had. We didn't have it. So it was like, that was one that we tried to chase down, was to go sub 9, and we just couldn't get it on the track at the same time. So I know how difficult that is as a coach to get done. So I mean, for what Kenny was able to do, that was amazing.
You mentioned families, and I think it's always, I'm an Alma guy, so I get the Catholic, but that's what it is at Assumption. Like, there's so many families that you're like through, like one of them, the Moore family for soccer, Daniel Moore and all the Moores that came, the Rip Slingers, the Kings, all those kind of things. Obviously that, and they push each other. And you've had so many that it's funny because as we talked before we started, the more you would say a name, I'd be like, oh my gosh, there was this one, that one, all that kind of stuff. You've gotten to be part of a lot of, I want to say maybe legacy names when it comes to this program, to this sport. That's got to be a beautiful thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, there was, it's funny, you see other coaches, they'll be like, there's another Rip Slinger. Yeah. Well, she was a niece, right? So that the last one that we had. So it was just, it's fun,
it's not just in track. It's football. There's another Argo.
Yep.
But there's another Argo. In basketball, but go ahead.
Yeah, same concept, and it's just like, another one. And it's like, then you find yourself, okay, well, that's a niece of this. And you start explaining the lineage and, where the family trees are and this and that. And so, it's fun, and certainly just kind of follows with that type of school. So it's just part of it.
Well, the thing is, it's Catholic, and Jesus loves us more. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Please don't. It's a joke. 2 step down after 25 years. You mentioned you look like hell, but you're 47, 46. No, you look good.
46.
46. Talk about what's next. The decision 2 step down, and why now was right.
Was gonna do it during the banquet last year, and I kind of briefly talked to my wife about it, and then. It was just kind of like, it wouldn't be uncommon for me just to go do something. And then she'd be like, and everybody's looking at her, and I got choked up. I couldn't do it. So I was like, all right, I'll come back one more year, but I'm done. I'm going to make it very clear, very well known that it's done. So to try to take the pressure off me, our banquet's tonight. So, and it's just, it's been just trying to enjoy it all. And then I had a career change, so that lended it to be a little easier. I travel, I cover 6 states. I'm on the road quite a bit. And I did it with my last gig too, but it's just, it kind of got that territory under control. And now it's like completely new. So I got to grind again. So it's just, I'm not doing the kids the justice. I missed the first 3 weeks of practice. I was there for 1 day before our first meet to give out uniforms. Heck, there was a girl on our team that she and I kept missing each other. I didn't see her till 6 weeks in because she's in a different training group. I never saw her at the track. And it was like this isn't what it's not fair. I need to, it's time to go. So.
Yeah, no. And hey, 25 is a good year. Cause I was 25 years after doing one thing I went and did. So it is. And it's one of those things too, where it's always different times for different, challenges and those kind of things as well. You look at, everybody wants to leave a program better when they got it. You have to be thrilled with where you're leaving the program, the things you'll be able to accomplish and all that. Kind of talk about that, because when you think Assumption Track and Field, like in the state, it's a state powerhouse. That's something you got to be proud of, and you're leaving it definitely in a better place than you got it.
Yeah, I think so too. And my first year coaching, I was just the boys coach, and then it was my crazy idea to go to our athletic director, Randy Norton, at the time, and say, "Hey, really like to combine these programs." And part of it is I had an assistant coach who had a sister on the team, and there was another girl that was really, really good. And I'm like, "Man, I think we can do right by her." And again, we had 3 Division I track athletes, myself, Charles Stelk, and John Ball, and we're like, we took the program right away. Like, our boys team got good really quick. The girls program started to come around. The girls program was more of a slow burn, and then it just took off. The boys were really, really good early on, and then we've never really been able to get this incredible team, but we've always had really good individuals that we've been able to get to compete at a high level. But we had some really, really good relays, good individuals early on, and it's just been this, each program just had a little bit different something to offer. And but yeah, I mean, to look back on that and see where that is and where it is, I mean, heck, I feel like the boys program was the one that was really struggling, because I think they had an assistant wrestling coach that they gave an extra stipend just to get him around. And then, so, I mean, I couldn't find a box of jerseys. I found a box of T-shirts. I couldn't find anything. And we really had to start from scratch with what we have. So.
Absolutely. And it's in a great place now. I'm going to ask you the question that I hated people asking me when I was done and moving on to something different. I hated it, so I'm going to ask it to you. People would say, hey, who's your favorite athlete to cover? Or those kind of things. And it's hard. Do you have, like, when people say to you, what's your favorite athlete to coach? I mean, it's like picking a favorite child. I get that. Mine's Chase. I say that all the time. But, like, how do you handle that question? And is there athletes that pop out right about the bat that, like, this person?
There are two athletes that I can, it's not even close. That they, and the thing is, it's no disrespect to any of the other ones, because you build unique relationships with so many different kids. And I think that's the most difficult thing as a coach, is you've got to mesh with all these different personalities and try to make it work and try to connect. On the boys' side, there's a kid by the name of Mike Craddock. Mike ran at Northern Iowa. He was our school record holder in the 200, the 400, the 800, was on a 4x4, a distance medley. I think I'm missing one, 4x8 and 4x8. So his range of 200 to 800 meters, it's crazy. We had a guy that had split sub 151 on our team that went to Notre Dame, was a Drake champ, but Mike beat him in the 800. But he had a skill set on the short end. He was a 48.3 quarter miler, a 153 800 guy, and was the toughest kid. Any workout that you gave him, he wanted more and could take it. And it was one of the most impressive things that I'd ever seen as a high school kid.
Wow. Who's the other?
Joy, just, again, I was a distance coach of them. And so, like, you spend an incredible amount of time, the trips when you're going to, New York City, Kansas, you're going to Chicago, you're going to all these places, going to California, nationals, like all these things that you do, you spend time with them, their families, and then you get to, there was a story, I'll tell this was a good one. Joy and I did a workout after her junior year, getting ready for nationals, where she passed out. And I was like, you can't call your mom, because she'll shut this thing down. Like, I literally had to, like, throw her in the car, drive. We was at Brady Street Stadium. I drove across the street, went to the Shell station, got her Gatorade, got her blood sugar back up. And I'm like, I called 5 of my college coach buddies. I'm like, this is the workout. This is the time. You're foolish if you're not scholarshiping her right now. This is before, everything happened her senior year. And, kind of the rest was it. But it was like, it was so impressive, but she was willing to take herself to that. And I was just like, it was to the point of not calling 911, just driving straight to the hospital, or is she going to recover? And she did, and it turned out. But
is mom going to watch this and yell at you?
I think I've told the mom the story since then, but it was one of those that we held on to after she graduated high school. There's a lot of things Tracy Ripslinger found out after the fact that it was like, hey, but it was just, it's part of the story. It's part of the memories, and it kind of goes all with it. So
absolutely. You talk about new ventures and everything that you're getting to do. One thing that you've always been good with us about probably 3-4 years now has been part of the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing. Your business, Mobile Party Experience, which is an awesome experience, comes out. They take over one of the holes at the event. You got the one of the trailers are there, so it's always a good time. We have a lot of good times but that's probably one of the top ones. Last year you brought a golf ball cannon gun, or
cannon sounds fine. Sure,
it sounds cool. Yeah, and it was a blast. So first and foremost, thank you for and raising money for charity too, and that's cool. So kind of talk about the business itself, and then, like, being able to. You mentioned, like, you're raising money for a good cause with us. That's what you get to do a lot of.
Yeah, so the business, the Mobile Party Experience, that's we just celebrated 5 years back on Labor Day last year, so we're kind of in our 6th year of operating. It was a tough business to start in 2019, and then all of a sudden 2020 comes around, and all of a sudden you got all this stuff lined up, and it just falls apart. But we were able to. You
had one big party during the pandemic.
Well, I'll tell you what happened is it was like I remember doing a watch party at Assumption. Pull the trailer up, had all my kids just wanted to get together, and we were in this weird phase of, are we going to get to have a high school track season or not?
Yeah.
And so we had a movie watch night. So we had kids come out.
That's awesome.
So they were all spread out doing the whole social distancing thing, and we look at it and laugh now, but but it's like the kids were just starving for attention from each other, and so we did stuff like that, and then it was cool. Doing golf outings, and then that's really the only place I could try to market the business, and then it turned into, well, hey, let's turn this into a fundraiser. And I did this one for a family for some substance abuse for a family member they had lost. And then we did these par 3 challenges. And I'm like, okay, that was cool for a year or two. And then it was the golf ball cannon. And then here we are. I think we have 36 or 37 golf outings on our
That's
docket
awesome.
this year. And so then it turned into a whole charity component. And so in the last 5.5 years, we've donated or helped raise over $78,000 now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The business itself, great for obviously football season and all that kind of stuff. But just, it's grad parties that are coming up now and all those kind of things. Just kind of talk about what it is, trailers that have you name it on it, TVs, music, everything else. You can do more of that than I can. But it really enhances any game day, any tailgate, any party that you can have.
Yeah, it's the TVs, the speakers. There's a bathroom on it, so it's very, very. We say female friendly when you're,
which is huge sometimes.
Sometimes,
you know that.
Yes, I do. Again, the speakers. There's grills. There's Blackstones on them. There's just tables, chairs, tents, coolers, everything that you need. There's keg taps on there for those that do the draft beer thing. So it's kind of has a little bit of everything for everybody. And then we do. Golf outings has been the big one, but the tailgating during football season, and then we do a lot of corporate events. We've done the Mississippi Valley Fair. We've done we've done some grand openings. We've done some employee appreciation, customer appreciation. We'll come out grill. I did I think I cooked for 340 people at Dowling Catholic for their big golf outing. Yeah, I was out there promoting the thing on the hole, and I'm over there. I think I cooked 350 pieces of meat between burgers and brats. Yeah, so it's sometimes I got to be careful what I wish for. I might get it, but it's fun. It's a great addition to about every event that you can have. We've done some stuff with partnerships in downtown Davenport too. Yeah. So done some stuff at the Bix. Yeah, it's been fun. Beautiful.
If people are interested, is it mpx?
It's my-mpx.com.
Beautiful. No, it's a cool thing that you're getting into and continuing to grow and all those kind of things. The golf outing, good plug for me, is less than 3 weeks away. Highland Springs Golf Course, GuyRandazzoGolf.com. We have 2 teams still available. We're at 34 teams, which is awesome. That's full. That's plenty, but we want to get 2 more. So if you're interested, a bunch of knuckleheads will be out there, familiar faces, all that kind of stuff. It's a good time. So go to GuyRandazzoGolf.com. You have a banquet tonight. Are you ready? Have you scripted? Are you doing that kind of scripting thing, or
the script is done? Because of this young lady that.
Will you stay on script?
I think I will. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to try to take my emotions out of it as much as possible. I'm sure it'll get me at some point. But we got a little guest speaker coming in tonight. I'm excited to have him. My kids don't know yet, so I won't say it on here in case anybody's watching. But it'll be exciting.
Tim, everybody's watching. In case everybody's watching. So hey, I appreciate you.
Of course.
Everything you do for the golf outing. Best of luck and everything. And 25 years of a lot of success at Assumption High School. He is Tim O'Neill. We are just getting warmed up here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Coming up, I get to have a fun segment for me, but a cool segment as well. Josh Schuler is the strength and conditioning coach of the 2-time NFC North champion Detroit Lions, Muscatine grad from right here in the Quad Cities. We catch up with him and learn about his journey to the NFL and a bunch more. Jake Dervass later in hour number 2. Got a lot to get to right here. You're watching Off the Air on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Quad Cities, are you brave enough for halfway to Halloween? Friday, May 16th, the Steamwheelers battle on Tulsa in a night of haunted hits and bone-crushing indoor football action. It's spooky fun for the whole family, complete with a haunted house and high-flying IFL football that'll leave you howling. Snag your tickets now at steamwheelersfootball.com/tickets and come get scared and entertained. Friday night, May 16th, presented by Asylum of Mad Dreams and Slick Willie Radio.
The PGA Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run, July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday, and Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Of course, the Quad Cities proud of their own. And when it comes to the NFL, a lot of products have made their way from the Quad Cities to the NFL as a player. And there's one guy who's at the highest level in the NFL as a strength and conditioning coach. We're joined now by Detroit Lions strength and conditioning coach and Muscatine product, Josh Schuler, right now on OTA. First and foremost, Josh, thank you for continuing to let me bug you and doing this. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, Matt. Just appreciate you having me on, and good to be able to spend some time with you today. So no worries at all. I thank you.
I love it. I love it. We, obviously I'm a Lions fan. We're going to get to the beloved Lions in just a little bit, but I want to talk about your journey. You are the head strength and conditioning coach with the Detroit Lions, and your roots are right here at Muscatine. Kind of talk about that growing up in the Quad Cities in Muscatine. And when you were a Muskie, did you think you would eventually be doing what you're doing now? Kind of talk about how that all developed.
Yeah, I would say, I think we all are, but blessed to grow up where we did in the state of Iowa, biased, with my family and the support system we had there. Muscatine was great. John Each was our head football coach, strong man of faith. A lot to him. But I would say I had no idea. I love sports. Growing up, there was baseball, football, wrestling, soccer, all of it. But I don't know that I really knew that this was a profession growing up out there. And so my first time, I think, really understanding that I could do this wasn't even until I went off to Iowa State and kind of saw what they had going there.
You get to Ames and to Iowa State. Sorry, you're a Cyclone. I apologize. No, I'm kidding. Your aunt is an amazing, amazing woman. I always give her a hard time. But you go to Iowa State. When did it develop? And how, when you got to Ames, did you kind of start seeing maybe what you wanted to do in the future?
Yeah, and I got to put our little plug in for Iowa State. My grandma graduated from there in 47.
Okay.
And my aunt will tell you, and she's one of the biggest support systems ever, but I think there's close to 30 or maybe over 30 of us now that have all gone within the family of that school. So we love it pretty good, to say the least.
Yeah.
But yeah, started off at Iowa State. I went into business originally, and I got through the first year, and that was not for me. Not at all. And then exercise science came about and kind of started looking into that and was able to switch my majors there. And then there were three individuals. Andrew Mosier was the head strength coach for Olympic sports. Elisa Angelis, she's gone on to do great things. She's actually a strength coach with a pro soccer team out in DC now. And then Ike Hammerly, he's out of Newton. He played football at Central College, some of those. He was a GA, but they allowed me to come and work with them and volunteer as a student undergrad. And so I was able to spend a lot of time with them, learned a lot from them, and they, gave me that chance and kind of started to grow that passion and love for it there.
Yeah, you get done there. How do you get from there to Detroit and the NFL? Take me through that journey through, because it's not like you get that diploma from Iowa State and Detroit's waiting for you. Obviously, there's a process to get to the NFL. How did that develop?
Yes, sir. We had to do an undergrad, try to keep it the short snippet. For our undergrad, you had to do an internship. I was fortunate enough, I went out to University of Colorado. And then working there, the strength coaches, I had 3 guys out there that I was fortunate enough to work with. They had a connection with the head strength coach at Auburn University. So they helped me get from Colorado in June of 2008. I went down to Auburn, was able to become a graduate assistant there, got my master's from Auburn. After Auburn, got to go back to Colorado as a full-time assistant. So full-time assistant with football. And then at that time, you had multiple sports too. So I had golf, tennis, and then all track and field. Was there for 2 years. Then got the opportunity to go to the Naval Academy, which was a really cool blessing. Those young men and women out there, the men we got to deal with. Coach Niamatalolo, I learned a lot from him. I think he's an unbelievable coach, unbelievable man, that I was blessed enough to work with them out there. Did some training for was able to train some special ops guys for a year. And then the opportunity came to go to Detroit in 2016. And that kind of came back from Colorado, where one of the assistants there, Moses Cabrera, had left after the 2010 season to go out to New England, the Patriots, to be an assistant. And then actually met my wife through him out there in New England. But I would go visit Moses in college. You have a little downtime in the May time period and trying to learn, just see what they were doing. And the head strength coach was Harold Nash at that point. And in 2016, Coach Nash came to Detroit to be the head strength coach and had given me a call and said, hey, would you be interested? And didn't even realize an opportunity, and sitting there and praying on it. And of course, no doubt on that, pretty excited to get that opportunity. And then we've been blessed enough, my family and I, that we've been here since 2016.
No, it's awesome. And you look at it, because I'm doing math in my head. So 2016 is the Jim Caldwell era. Is that right? So
yes, sir.
You get to Detroit and you're at the NFL level. And there's changes. And obviously the Lions have been through now a third coach since you've been there. To be able to stay there, to be able to set your roots there, what has that been like? Because that's not always easy to do, especially in the NFL.
Yeah, I think it always goes back to, I think your faith, for one. I think with anything, but in this profession, like you say, is who knows what's coming. The faith, the foundation of that, lean into that. But always from all the coaches I've been able to be around, just been grateful all that they've gotten to teach me. I mean, Coach Caldwell, unbelievable man. I learned a lot from him. Coach Patricia, same thing. I owe a lot to that man. He gave me my first head job here in the NFL, taught me a lot about ball as well. Thankful to those guys. And then with the opportunity, Mike Clark's our director over all our sports performance, and that when him and Coach Campbell came in, was grateful that I got to stick around with them and keep learning from them. And I think hopefully, but it goes back, I believe, to our roots, but just the way we're raised. I hope that the way we go about things is a humbleness, a continuing wanting to learn, and all the great people that I've been fortunate enough that have been willing to teach me and continue to learn from them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You look at what you get to do now. Coach Campbell comes in, Brad Holmes, and they hit the ground running. And you talk about those roots and those Iowa roots, and we'll talk about these players a little bit more. But it's funny how he drafts Iowa players, and Iowa players get there, and his philosophy, his grit philosophy, kind of goes with Iowa, the state of Iowa, Muscatine, where you're from. Could you tell when that organization switched and that regime came in that you would have a good fit there and they kind of fit what you like to do as a person and just like a thought process as well?
Yeah, I believe it was. I think there's a lot that goes into it. I always joke with Coach Campbell. They said he was raised on a ranch in Texas and his dad was a Marine. So I say you got a good chance right there. And then I just believe him and Brad are great men again, and they stay true to their process. They know who they are. They're consistent, all of those things. So again, to be able to work for men like that and learn from them is just unbelievable.
Okay, I got my Dan Campbell bobblehead right here. So,
Yep.
What's this dude like? What's a conversation? What's a meeting? What's seeing this dude daily like? And I kind of think what you see is what you get. What's Dan Campbell like?
I think you hit on the head. What you see, what you get. I appreciate so much about him, but there's no facade to coach. Like, he is the truest of all. He's an unbelievable coach. He's an unbelievable man. All of that goes hand in hand for him. And just the truth of it all. And we see facades out there. We know in the industry of, hey, on camera, it might look like this and, different things, but he is who you see every day. And that has never changed. He's, I would say, as constant as they come. Phenomenal leader. All those things go hand in hand for coach.
Do you take? I mean, he's in good shape. You got to take credit for that, don't you? Is he in there working out, doing the things with the guys? You got to take credit for that guy too, don't you?
Heck no. He's been rolling for a long time. He's got his routine down, and all that credit goes to him. No, that's not us. That's not us, man.
Josh Schuler joining us right now, head strength and conditioning coach with the Detroit Lions, a Muscatine native as well. Going back when you got there with Coach Caldwell, obviously there was some success to be had. And then it kind of, it wasn't great in the Patricia era. What has it been like in recent years to be a guy that was there when things weren't great and success wasn't a lot, and to be able to be in that city? And I'm sure you consider yourself a Detroiter now. I mean, you consider yourself, you've been there for so long. What's it been like to watch that organization and that community and the love fest there is between the two?
Yeah, I just, like you said, I'm so happy for the city, the people of Detroit, the people of Michigan. They are passionate now. You know that. They love their Lions. To no end. It's amazing going on the road these days, how you see how many Lions fans show up at our road games, no less. And for everything they've gone through, I'm just happy for that city and those people too. It's been unbelievable to see. I think there's definitely been a resurgence. You look at the Pistons, the Tigers, everybody, the Red Wings keep pushing. So all those teams and the resurgence of the city as it's continued to grow. And that's what I think is really cool, just to see how it comes alive. But it is a passionate city. They love their sports, and it's fun. It's been really fun.
Now people are watching this and they're curious. Head strength and conditioning coach with the Detroit Lions. What does that entail? So, I mean, I don't want to sit here and have you ramble off everything you do because you do a lot, but what's the main focus and what do you have the oversight over that you want to get done in this organization?
Yeah, we have a great staff. I think Coach Clark's our director. We have Joe Costander's our director of player performance. I've got 2 assistants with me, Cam and Coach Thad, and then Jimmy is our intern. But we look at all the training aspects. I think we look at the totality of a player when it comes to how do we train them, what phase of the season we're in, whether it's running, whether it's lifting, whether it's mobility work, working with our team dietitians. You look at how do they sleep and how are, stress levels. There's so many things that go into the performance aspect and performance model these days that you're always trying to look at all aspects. How do we help these guys better as they're becoming professionals? And the main thing, we look at those, but the training, running, lifting, all those are different in the off season than the in season. You got to look at the planning too of when can we push harder, when can we not push harder. How do you, with our in season, you've got a minimum of 20 weeks. Hopefully we get to that 24-week program. You look at the schedules when we're playing Monday night games, Sunday night games, Thursday night games. So, like say, not to go down a rabbit hole, but there's a lot of things we try to take in, and it's not just trying to get under and squat a bar every day or, touch your toes. I would say there's a lot of different things we try to look at to hopefully help those players the best we can.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. When you look at this past season, obviously, past 2 years, North Division champions, and I love to say that as loud as I can here in Bear Country. North Division, back-to-back North Division champions. I mean, they swept the Bears, they swept the Packers, they swept the Vikings. All right, I'm done. I'll get out of my system. But the success has been there, and this past season, obviously 15-2 and a ton of success, but they did it. You guys did it through a lot of adversity when it came to unfortunate injuries and those kind of things. And when you look at it, there's nothing you can do about seeing a leg snap for Aiden Hutchinson and those kind of things. What was this past season like? And I know it had to be, fulfilling on the field, but frustrating at times as well, because, as a Lions fan, I felt it. It seemed like every week there was somebody else getting dinged up and getting beat up.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to starting with Coach and the culture that he's built with the team and all those coaches. I think Aaron Glenn didn't get enough credit, Ben Johnson, all those guys, what Aaron Glenn, Coach AG did over the years. But I also mean it goes back to, I may be off the cuff on this, but I think sometimes as strength coaches, we think we're more important than we are too. I think we're there to help guys. Hopefully you're in the background. You're here to help those young men. Like I said, there's stuff we can't control. And then I'm going to go back to my faith on that, where no doubt it was frustrating. You want to help these young men. I think the worst part is seeing stuff that they're trying to achieve that they can't when those injuries come into play. But again, going back to the Lord's got it. Everything, is in his plan, and we'll see how it goes and see how things happen. And I think you learn from those situations too. Always looking inward as well, though. What can we do better? Learning from guys over the years. I think we don't learn when everything is easy. I do think we learn a lot more when things are hard and how we navigate situations, but just trying to keep it all in cycle with not letting it get too big. What are the main things? But again, I give all the credit to Coach and Brad and them and the culture they built in our players, how hard they play. That's all the credit goes to all of them.
You're there in Detroit now in the middle of an off-season regiment routine. Just last week, just a few days ago, Aiden Hutchinson spoke to the media for the first time. How nice is it to see? And he said, he goes, I'm clear. I got nothing. How nice is it to see that dude running around a football field again? And what was that like? Because obviously you've gotten to know him well, and that's a guy who lives it, breathes it. And to see that happen to him, first off, what's it like to have him back out there running around? And then watching him go through that had to be difficult as well.
Yeah, no doubt. You feel for him. He is a high energy, high level guy to the max. His effort never comes down. He is humming at all points. So you felt terrible for him, the injury he was having, but he attacked everything like a professional. And then no doubt for our team to have him back and the leadership he brings, all those things, it's going to be a great thing to have him back and hopefully just keep him rolling.
How's he look, and has he missed a beat?
Yeah, he looks great. I think he's been great for us. He is detailed in all aspects and just continues to grow each and every day.
We talked about the Iowa connection. I want to talk to you about two of the Iowa guys there. Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, both coming in the same class. And that kind of Coach Ferentz, culture seems to fit with the Detroit Lions MCDC culture. How have they fit in just to that program? Not just as players. Obviously, we see the talent that they have, but it seems like work ethic, guys, dudes, people who they are fit with what Detroit likes right now?
No question. They're both great young men, to say the least, and great players as well. But I would say they attack that every day with a professionalism about them, how they approach everything they do. I think they're leaders on and off the field. And that definite, I respect the heck. I don't know Coach Ferentz, but I respect always what he's done there. You look at what he's done over his years there. I think it's unbelievable. And the players that he's come out of there, the young men that have come out of that program. So I would say these two fit that to a T from what I know, is on the outside of it. But really enjoy them more than you know, and pretty cool that get to work with them and be around those two.
And now David Montgomery, the Iowa State guy, is with the Lions as well. You're an Iowa State guy. I don't want to bring up bad things for Hawkeye fans that are listening, but I believe the Cy-Hawk game went the way of the Cyclones last year. Do you make sure you remind Sam and Jack about that maybe the week after, the day after, those kind of things?
I'll be honest, Matt, I don't get too big into it anymore. Maybe I should.
Especially when you win.
Yeah, I feel, we've taken our licks over the years and all that. And again, David's unbelievable. You want to talk about him, a strong individual, the way he works, just all of it. That he is a true blessing, I would say. But I stay pretty low key on it these days. We're around it so much as it is that football, and we're just in the day to day, and you kind of take it in, but I don't get too fired up about it.
No, I got you. A few more for Josh Schuler before we let him go. This team the last couple of years have been so successful and so much fun. Has there been a moment that you can sit back, a game, a win that you've relished the most or enjoyed the most, or sat back and looked at Ford Field and been like, wow, I've seen this place not empty, but not fired up, and now here we are now. What has this last 2 years been like, and has there been a moment or two that kind of stand out to you?
Yeah, I think, man, one, it might have been the end of year 2 with Coach Campbell, but that win at Green Bay at the end of the year, just, again, I thought the way our guys fought, knowing that we wouldn't make it either way, but just coming out and how they played hard. And then, that first playoff game in 2024 there, when it was the first, and I don't think I even realized at the time, but the first playoff win ever at Ford Field against the Rams, and the place was rocking. But I think just to really be able to do that and see when you have a true belief and a group of guys come together, what they can achieve, and just taking that in, and the crowd there, gosh, I do feel our stadium gets rocking pretty good. It was always good, but I think it's on a whole nother level right now with where things have come from. And just be able to sit in there and kind of take it in. My folks were at that game. You owe so much to your parents for all that they've done over the years. My wife being at that game, wouldn't be able to do what I do without her. And just taking those things in, trying to keep things simple, if you know what I mean, and the blessings that come with it. But those are a couple of special ones, I believe, over the years.
Gotcha. Last couple before we let you go. The season didn't end the way that I wanted. It's the way you wanted to last year for the Lions, and as a longtime Lions fan, I just enjoyed the heck out of it, because I remember 0-16. My kids were heartbroken, and I was okay. 15-2 and a loss in the playoffs. I mean, things have been worse, but I know that didn't sit well with those guys up there, and Coach Campbell and Brad and all those guys are continuing to work hard. What's the vibe right now during the off season? Because everybody gets better in the division, in the league, and the Lions are there, and they're so talented, and now they're almost overlooked a little bit in my eyes because they've been good for a little while. What's the mood like in Detroit? And I know they're probably just as hungry as ever to continue what they've been doing.
Yeah, I think it's a steady, constant just approach to get better. I do believe that. Our guys have shown up great in the offseason. They're working hard. Just take it a day at a time and be consistent. And I think that's where we're at. Hungry, no question. But just take it a day at a time. Make sure we're consistent with how we approach everything and continue to just keep building so we can get ready for another one, hopefully.
Gotcha. Last one for you. I want to bring back to Muscatine before I let you go, because that is where you're from. And I know you're in Detroit now. Love Michigan, love Detroit, but I know family and a lot of loved ones still in the Quad Cities as well. How proud are you to be from Muscatine and from the Quad City area, and what your roots are here back home?
I'm so proud wouldn't even be the right word, I think, to even come to there. I think I love that state. I love the way I was raised there. The family farm that's in DeWitt there, Muscatine. I think you learn so much from a lot of that stuff of what makes us today. I don't think I would be even close to who I am today without being able to be raised there, being raised the way I was. I think you have hardworking people to the most. I think you've got humble people, the kindness level, all those things. So I miss Iowa. I miss the heck out of it. We love Detroit, thankful and all that. But my favorite place in the world is when we get to go back to Iowa. I enjoy the heck out of it. Now we get to take our children back and them get to experience some of those things. So I love that state, Matt, more than anybody knows.
I love it. I love to hear that. You mentioned your wife, but you got the kids, young kids, the wife, and we talked before we started how behind every good man, there's a better woman and all that kind of stuff. I don't even know if I'm a good man, but my wife's a rock star. And I think you would say the same with your wife. How important is that? Because the job that you do and the business you're in the NFL, you have to have that support system behind you. And I can only imagine she's a rock star as well.
Yeah, Jackie's amazing. I'm not even doing this without her. She loves football. I'm going to give a fun fact. She has a Super Bowl ring, because she was the team reporter for the Patriots in 2014 when they won it.
Oh, wow.
So let's just say she knows a little bit about ball. She can keep me going. But, with your wife, she does so much. Our season gets grinding. The fact that the way she raises our children, I'm blessed enough for that. The support system she is. I would say instead she gave up her career to be able to do what we're doing now, and she's okay with it. So that is, she's been probably the biggest blessing ever for me of my life. And, they're amazing. They are, and couldn't do it without them.
Can you do me a favor and match her with Super Bowl rings? Maybe beat her with Super Bowl rings and get a couple? Let's just do one first, all right? Let's not get jealous. Let's get one out of the way, and then we'll work on multiple. Do you have a craziest aunt? Like, if you thought in your mind, like, what aunt of mine is the wildest and the craziest, who would it be?
Well, Deanne Bloomberg. But I put crazy with, if there were nephews out there, and I will put it up against anybody, you'd be lucky to have an aunt like that. And she is like another mom for all of us. Her support system and the way she supports all of us, there's 14 of us nieces and nephews on that side, with now our children and that. Her passion for the farming community, I think everyone would say, is the way she supports people and her heart is unbelievable. And yeah, Deanne she is number one, no doubt.
You'd be surprised, Josh. Like the text messaging we do during games, and she's like, "Are you nervous? I can't watch." It's so awesome in this area. There's very few Lions fans, and so to have one, and not just to have another Lions fan, but you mentioned it. She's back at WQD when I was there. We had her on as a guest griller, and she's a rock star. She's charismatic. She's fun. Everything she does with a smile on her face. So yeah, that's a pretty cool aunt to have. So Josh, I appreciate you doing this. Obviously I'm biased. I'm super proud because I am a Lions fan as well, but love watching Quad City people do big things. And I know you're a modest guy and you may not consider it big things, but to do what you're doing in the NFL is awesome. We love the way you love Iowa. I want to thank you as well. Last year, you helped support my dad's golf outing as well. I'm going to bug you about it after we get done recording this as well. But you're awesome. I appreciate it. I've never met you in person, but I feel like you're a good friend. So best of luck, and we'll talk maybe after a Super Bowl or two later on, if that works.
That'd be great. No, thank you for everything and everything you do back there, Matt. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. That is Josh Schuler, head strength and conditioning coach for the mighty Detroit Lions, the two-time defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. We got a little more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Tour swings into the Quad Cities again this summer, and you don't want to miss it. The John Deere Classic brings golf, music, magic, and more to TPC Deer Run July 2nd through the 6th. Wednesday, July 2nd is Youth Day, and ages 15 and under are free all week, making it perfect for the whole family. Stick around after the golf on the weekend for the concerts on the Course Series, featuring country superstar Dierks Bentley on Saturday and Grammy Award-winning Zach Brown Band on Sunday. Come for the golf, stay for the party. Visit JohnDeereClassic.com to get your tickets before they sell out.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. A lot of great events come up every summer, and one of them that we've become accustomed to in the Quad Cities is the Rally for Reid football camp hosted by this handsome fella right here, Jake Dervass, joining me right now. First and foremost, how's Austin? How's life? How's those kids? What's going on?
It's good, man. Appreciate you having me back. Love getting to hang out and talk with you, but we're good here in Austin. It's already too hot for this time of year. I mean, it's only end of May, and we had a couple 100-degree days last week. So looking forward to getting back to good old Iowa here in a couple weeks for a wedding and then the Rally for Reid football camp year 5. So all good. Wife is good. Got 2 girls now, Ellis and Andy, and, keeping busy, but that's a good thing.
A girl dad. You love that, though, don't you?
I do. I enjoy it. It's fun. We'll see if I say that in 10 years when they're teenagers. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun now. They're sweet. They're fun. And, still itching and holding out for a boy. But for now, I'm embracing the girl dad. I feel like I'm going to follow Wade King's footsteps, probably have 3 girls, and then, maybe get crazy, go for a 4th and get a boy. But we'll see what that transition to 3 is in a couple of years.
I got 4 boys. If you want one, just pick one. They're yours. I can ship them, put them in a box, send them down to Austin. You'll love it.
How tall is your wife?
Yeah, that's the problem. That's
my wife's 6'1", so I had a little bleeding in play. So
what's your oldest? Your oldest is 2?
Ellis. Yeah, she's 2.5.
2.5. So she's probably already 5'8".
Not that tall, but she is measuring big. And then our youngest, Andy, is 7 months, and her head is measuring at 99.99% in head size.
I'm assuming your 7-month-old is already walking and jumping hurdles as she gets up in the morning or something like that.
Yeah, we're putting her through a daily regimen. She's just cost of being great. But yeah, it's fun. Being a girl dad's awesome, and we're enjoying Austin. But like I said, really looking forward to getting back to the Midwest here in a couple of weeks for the camp and see some family and friends.
All right, I want to talk to you about the camp. We're going to get to the details here in a second, but I know that Reid Gleason was a special young man in your life, especially when you're at the University of Iowa. Kind of talk about your relationship with him, how all that came about, and obviously celebrating him once again this year is really, really important, I know, to you.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite days of the year. I got to know the Gleason family through a family friend in the Quad Cities. Unfortunately, while they were spending time up at the Stead Family Children's Hospital in Iowa City, he was fighting pediatric brain cancer. So got to, meet him and try to go visit him whenever they're up there while he was going through chemo and radiation, all those different treatments. It was a lot of fun, put things in perspective. You think you're feeling bad because you got spring practice or you had a bad film session or whatever it is, and you go see, a young 2-year-old fighting cancer. And it really puts things in perspective, and got the chance to kind of follow him through his journey. Unfortunately, he passed away in October of 2020. Through that pediatric brain cancer, and then kind of just came up with the idea to, have a football camp in his memory, raise some money for the foundation his mom and dad, Bill and Megan, had just started, the Rally for Reid Foundation, and, try to hit up some former teammates, some Iowa guys, throw together a football camp, and, flash forward, now we're going on the 5th annual Rally for Reid football camp. Hopefully after this year, we're going to have raised close to over $300,000 in 5 years. So we'll see what the registration numbers look like and the donations and the auction stuff. But, it's been a great journey. It's been a lot of fun. And it's a great day to, teach the fundamentals of football, but also raise money for the foundation, which helps families who are currently going through what the Gleasons did, whether it's, hospital stays or hotel or gas fees, whatever comes with that unfortunate reality that a lot of families have to deal with while their kids are sick at the hospital, as well as gift baskets and, the research that is ongoing to try to beat pediatric cancer. So the foundation does great work. I feel very blessed and fortunate to be a small part of it. And this is definitely one of my favorite days of the year here coming up.
Talk about the camp itself, because you mentioned some former friends coming back and stuff. It's got to be fun to celebrate him throughout the day, but then do what you do and do what you love, and that's the game of football. And intertwining the two has just been a perfect fit for you, it seems.
It has, yeah. It's been a lot of fun. It's a great day. This year it's gonna be Friday, June 27th, so actually a month from today. It is at Jack and Pat Bush Stadium. Davenport, Assumption, and St. Ambrose have been awesome to work with the last few years, and same thing this year where they let us use the facilities in the stadium for the camp. We've got 2 sessions. First session is K through 4th grade. That's from 9 a.m. to 10:30, so 90-minute session. And then the second session is 5th grade through 9th grade, I believe, another 90-minute session. So that's from 11:30 to 1. So it's a great day. A bunch of my former teammates, I've got Ben Neiman, Parker Hesse, Nick Easley, Keith Duncan, Pat Anger, Ike Bucker is going to be his first year coming to help out, as well as Austin Kelly, Kevin Ward, and Jack Kerner. So we got a great list of former Hawks. We all get together. It's a lot of fun for us because we get to see each other. We're all spread out over the country. We golfed the day before, stayed at the casino the night before, and then stumble into the camp the next morning. But it's a lot of fun. Great day of football. Great day of teaching young kids the fundamentals of working hard, doing things the right way, and hopefully pass on some knowledge from what we learned from our time at Iowa, and then some of us that were fortunate enough to play in the NFL as well.
There's one thing that I don't know if you've done every year, but you're doing, I know last several, is the Spirit Camp. kind of talk about that too, because obviously you think football camp and you think, a bunch of guys and all that kind of stuff, but looking to raise money in any way we can. There's a spirit camp that takes place at St. Ambrose. Really cool way that if you got a family of 2 boys, 2 girls, and the girls want to go do the spirit camp, or heck, if the girls want to do the football camp, probably they can do that too. But just talk about involving everyone. I thought that was a really cool thing that was started as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think Megan had that idea after our first or second year of the football camp. She's got a dance and cheer background from St. Ambrose. Figured it'd be a great way to, like you said, make it a whole family affair. So we always have a lot of girls at the football camp. I support that. I encourage that. It's a lot of fun. But if you do have daughters or sons, whatever it looks like, that want to go to the spirit camp, it's paired with the football camp. So all the details can be found on the website, rallyforreid.org. But they do have a spirit camp where they've got a couple different sessions where, your kids can go there if they're not interested in football. It's a part of the same day, the foundation, and all the money goes to the great cause of fighting pediatric cancer. So that's something Megan came up with, pairs really well with the football camp, and makes for a really fun day for the whole family in the Quad Cities.
You mentioned Pat Anger. Are you fully prepared for like paramedics and stuff like that? Like, I don't know if you've seen him lately, but he's probably pushing 3 bills. So, are you prepared to make sure that he's probably just doing a vocal role? He's not actually going to do physical stuff out there, is he?
I mean, Pat can do whatever he wants. He's a Quad City legend. We will have medical staff on site just in case things get out of hand. So you never know. Pat, he could show up in full pads and want to do Oklahoma drill with some kids. He's that type of dude. So looking forward to seeing him. He's always a character. Golfing with him the day before, you got to keep your eyes on him because he's going to cheat, just like he tried to do in the Triple D back in the day. We didn't let him. Didn't let him. The downport assumption values won through over those Bettendorf Bulldog BS. But, yeah, looking forward to having Pat and a bunch of the guys back. And always makes for a great day hanging out with those guys and coaching up some young kids on the field.
I want to hit you up on a few more things before I let you go, but one more thing about the camp too, and you're experienced with this because it is busy. It's controlled chaos sometimes with that many kids and all, but you have great coaches. What are you hoping to get through to kids, not just football lessons, life lessons, all those kind of things, when they go there for the morning or the afternoon or whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fundamentals of the game of football at a young age, right? Like, I went to a couple of camps growing up, and I feel like I learned a lot of things. But, they're going to get exposure to, Pat Anger and Ben Neiman both played linebacker. Ben's still playing linebacker in the NFL, right? Keith Duncan is an All-American kicker. Like, you go down the list, all these guys have great experience, have been coached by really high-level coaches, and now they can pass that knowledge on to you in the field. So in terms of the fundamentals, just listen to the small details that can take you a long way. And then also just, you don't want to make it a sad ordeal by any means, but just take into perspective, how lucky you are as a young kid to be out there playing the game and having fun, right? Like, Reid would love to be out there at this football camp, but we're having this camp in his memory and his name. And, you're young, you're healthy. Take that into perspective. Tell your parents a simple thank you for bringing you to the camp, for signing up, for raising money for the foundation, and make it a fun day. So fundamentals and also just perspective of how lucky you are, how lucky we all are to be able to, be a part of a day like that in memory of such a special kid like Reid.
Rallyforreid.org is the place to go, correct? Rallyforreid.org. Check it out.
Yep.
Get signed up. Do so ASAP. The more the merrier. All that kind of stuff. Before I let you, so football wise, you're going to teach the game. How much do you miss the game right now? Now that you're in life after football, what's that been like? And obviously you're killing it what you're doing, but how much of you misses, or how do you feel the urge or the need to, I don't know, hit people? I'm a little worried for Haley and all that kind of stuff. Like, you're not just going around like hitting couches and stuff like that, but how do you feel the need of the void that football may have left?
Yeah, I think I'm, through the rough part of the transition. I've been out for basically 2 years now. It's a hard transition for everybody. Luckily, I had a newborn baby. I had a small business that my brother and I were starting. So I'm through the hard part. I definitely still miss it. You miss competing. You miss messing around with the guys in the locker room, hanging out, moving weight in the weight room, all that good stuff. But at sometime all good things come to an end. You got to work on that transition. So now I'm training for my first marathon. I'm going to run the Austin Marathon in 2026. So I hate running. I'm not good at it. I'm too heavy to be doing it, but that's kind of what I've set my mind to for that distraction or that outlet. So we'll see how that goes. I may or may not finish. My body may or may not break down, but that's what I'm working towards. And just staying busy with work, staying busy with being a dad. I'm not bitter at the game of football anymore. I definitely was for a while. You think you can play forever. You think the phone should have rang. You should have done this. Someone could have done that. Whatever it means. Comes to an end. You just got to get through that transition. Now I'm just trying to enjoy life, trying to take over the Austin real estate, still build tiny homes, and be a good dad and a good husband. So keep him busy in a lot of facets.
Dude, you have a Super Bowl ring. Like, do you wear that? I would wear it everywhere I go. I'd have it on a necklace, where is it? And think about that. Jake Dervass, who played at every level at a high level. But if I would have told you when I was covering your goofy little ass and at Assumption that you be a Super Bowl champion, what would you have said?
I would have said, BS. There's no way. I'm going to try to walk on an aisle, probably ride the bench, maybe play a little special teams, and then get into med sales or something. I would not have believed you. I think I've said this before. Every time I got an interception at Iowa, Coach Parker said a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. I guess I found that in a Super Bowl ring somehow. It's in my nightstand. I probably haven't seen it in a year, but it's in there. And it's a really, really cool thing. I think at some point I'll look back and be like, wow, that's amazing. But it's at this point, it's like, it's awesome. But I would have killed for it back.
Why is it in your nightstand? It should be above your mantle or something.
Well, that's not safe. You can't have it out on display. I need to get something figured out.
What kind of people do you have in your living room? Like, you can't trust people. You gotta have better people in your living. Although you have kids. Next thing you know, the daughter is climbing and grabs it and thinks it's funny to throw it in the. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay, so we mentioned your journey, and we've talked a ton about it. I don't want to get into it too much. Blah blah blah. Walk on. Everybody loves him, but you went to Iowa as a walk on, and to name drop, we did have your former head coach Kirk Ferentz on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo a short time ago, and one of the things we talked to him about was the roster size moving down to 105, and it's not official yet. It's supposed to be, but it's going to be. It's weird that we're sitting here almost in June, and they still haven't figured out what's going to happen in August, but that's a whole different issue. But it's most likely going to be at 105. That does a lot to the walk-on program at the University of Iowa. One that is that's a school that does a lot with walk-ons. As one of those walk-ons that did turn that into a Super Bowl championship. What are your thoughts when you hear those numbers and those cuts kind of happening?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unfortunate because it's going to affect guys like me that were able to take an opportunity and turn it into something, right? Like there's Iowa especially is known for walk-ons, coming as a walk-on, waiting their time, paying their dues, and then having an impact, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, whatever it looks like, whether that's on or off the field, right? They may not be a huge player, but they're a leader and the guy in the locker room that does things the right way, and younger guys can look as an example. So I think, that's a sad reality because if you think it's 15 spots gone, that's roughly 3 to 4 walk-ons per class. And I was probably one of those last walk-ons to commit. I was coming out of high school. I had a shoulder surgery from baseball. I got the last visit, one of the last walk-on opportunities, didn't go to camp. So who knows what would have happened if that was, only 105 roster spots when I was coming out of high school. So I don't know what the reasoning is, right? Like I think 120 guys, you've got guys that play scout team, you've got starters, offense, defense, special teams. So I think that would be unfortunate because you just look at the history of Iowa, Brett Greenwood, Jack Kerner, Dallas Clark, Quinn Schulte recently. There's a bunch of, guys who have started off on walk-ons, worked hard, did things the right way, found their way onto the field, ended up being team captains, whatever it looks like. And I think that'll take away the opportunity for, 2 or 3 guys per class, which is unfortunate. So hopefully it doesn't go through. I think 120 is a good number. Don't fix what ain't broke. If it's a cost thing, figure it out. But I think that would be unfortunate because it's a great path, and I think Iowa's been a program that's kind of lived on that. And I guess time will tell, but hopefully it doesn't end up going through.
Yeah, no, I think I completely agree. Unfortunately, it's going to go through, which is the sad part of it. And it's affected guys like Rusty Van Wetzinga, who's Lil Rusty from Pleasant Valley, went up there fullback for a couple of years. And Iowa, and Coach kind of alluded to it, like they were out front and ahead of it. Like they told the guys last spring, hey, this is what's going to happen, just to get them to different places. And they all have done good getting different places. But yeah, it is unfortunate for people like, and Jake, it's not like you're just earning a scholarship. And I'm not just saying you, but those guys like Kirk talked about, they're not just, they're team captains. Like there's a wall at the facility, and these are the walk-ons that have turned into team captains or whatever it may be. So yeah, it'd be bad to see. Before we let you go, your thoughts on Iowa football? Are you even keeping up with it? I know it's the off season. Are you excited? All that kind of stuff. Expectations may be a little bit lower this year. And I always say when they have lower expectations, that's when they kind of do some of their best stuff. Just, do you know anything about Iowa football going into next year yet, or is it still off-season mode for you?
For me, it's still a little bit of off-season mode. I did have a conversation with Phil Parker for the first time in a while the other day. It was good to catch up with him, and I know he's got some dudes in the DB room he's excited about. But, man, it's crazy. Like, if you think about it, my last year is 2018. I'm almost 7 years out, so I'm pretty far removed. And I live in Austin now, so I watch every game. But in terms of who they've got on offense, defense, special teams, like I'm a little out of the loop. I would say you probably know more than me. I think no matter who's out there, they're going to have their guys ready, prepared, and hopefully guys are ready to take advantage of any and every opportunity because they've good history of cranking out 8-9 wins and solid defense, special teams, and offense continuing to try to get better. So. I'm going to be completely blunt. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to look forward to the fall coming up here in 2025.
That's what I expected, and I've always known more than you, Jake. It's not just now I know more than you. I've always known more than you. So rally for Reid camp. Go get signed up. Jake and his buddies will be here late June, 1 month from today, June 27th, over at Assumption High School. I always appreciate you. Be good to those kids, those girls, and your wife's a rock star. We were talking earlier about my wife before we started. Your wife's a rock star too. Why she puts up with you is beyond me, but don't mess it up.
Couldn't tell you. Yeah, I tricked her in. Hey, blind squirrel finds a nut.
Yeah, interceptions, Super Bowl rings, and wives. You've done good, man. So, Jake, always appreciate you. Be good.
You're the man. Thank you.
All right. That is Jake Dervass, former Assumption standout, former Hawkeye standout, Super Bowl champion, and now he owns Austin. He'll be the mayor of Austin before we know it, sometime real soon. So you're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Tuesday, May 27th. Thank you guys for joining us so far today. Hopefully everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. It was a fun one for us. We, of course, had youth baseball, but I took my youngest, my 8-year-old, up to Freeport, Illinois. If nobody's been up there, they do this tournament for 8U kids. And it was one of the diamonds is like Little Wrigley Field. It's like Little Cub Field. It was super cool. Bleachers you can sit in as parents and stuff. And we had a blast. So it was fun there. And my wife had a reunion. And I had some cousins over yesterday for a cookout. So anyways, Memorial Day, fantastic. Hopefully you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend as well. Of course, hopefully everybody keeping in mind what Memorial Day is and the sacrifices for our country and for us. So yeah, and you're back. And the beautiful thing is now it is a 4-day work week for most of you, which is a good thing as well. School wrapping up, I know, for a lot of kids around the area. High school sports, it's a crazy busy time of year. And I know people think school year coming to an end, it's not as, but I mean, so many things going on. Soccer postseason starting on the Iowa side. They wrapped up track just now. I think golf's still going on, tennis, all that kind of stuff. Illinois side, softball, baseball. Congratulations to Sherrard. The Sherrard Tigers beating Rock Ridge in both softball and in baseball this past weekend as well. So winning regional championships. So a lot of great stuff going on both sides of the river. We'll kind of keep you updated on all of it. Get some good interviews and stuff like that throughout the week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So fun show for us today. We started things off by talking about the state track that was going on, especially in Des Moines on the Iowa side of the river, the co-ed state meet this past weekend. Tim O'Neill, the Assumption head track coach, joined me live in the studio to talk about, his legacy and his era, I guess I should say, at Assumption, wrapping things up after 25 years, the greats that he's gotten to coach, the state championships. They won 5 straight state championships. So a lot to be proud of for him. So great to have him in the studio. We also were joined by Josh Schuler, Muscatine grad, so QC native, QC-ish native, you know what I mean, our area. He's right now the head strength and conditioning coach for the 2-time defending and reigning NFC North champion Detroit Lions. So great to catch up with him, what the Quad Cities in this area, Muscatine means to him, Dan Campbell, all those kind of things. So really fun to catch up with him. And then always great to have Jake Dervass on the show. Jake's camp, the Rally for Reid camp, is 1 month from today. So get signed up. It's June 27th, a Friday, over at Jack and Pat Bush Stadium over at Assumption High School. Great event. And then also they encompass everybody. There's a cheer camp going on at at St. Ambrose at the same time as well for any of your kids who would rather do that instead. That's the place to be and to go to and all that kind of stuff. So rallyforreid.org is the place to go to get caught up with everything, get your kids signed up. There'll be familiar faces, Hawkeye-wise, and all that kind of stuff. So, and I talked with Jake a little bit. I got to double check things in my schedule with what's going on. Maybe travel for, kids baseball and stuff, but we may do the show from out there as well on that Friday. So that would be a ton of fun. We'd move the start time a little bit, or maybe, I bet it'd be the same time. Anyways, we'll figure that all out later in advance, but 1 month from today. Also, the Guy Randazzo Memorial Golf Outing is less than 3 weeks away. We still have 2 teams still available. As we speak. I know several teams interested, so get signed up as soon as you can. We're going to have that thing jam-packed and a ton of fun once again. Highland Springs Golf Course, June 14th, Saturday of Father's Day weekend. Familiar faces all over the place when it comes to local sports guys and athletes and all that kind of stuff. It'll be a ton of fun. So get up and get signed up for that as soon as you can as well. Tomorrow will be Steam Wheeler Wednesday. We're going to get the Wheelers back on track. They had a bye week this past week. They're on the road coming up this week, but we'll do Steam Wheeler Wednesday tomorrow. Also, we'll catch up with our good friend Pat Angerer. Pat's usually on Mondays, obviously Memorial Day. We didn't do that. We're going to do that tomorrow. And we're still debating. I believe he's got a joke swap. We kind of want to do a joke swap where we each have to read each other's jokes without seeing it like they do on Saturday Night Live. I'm worried. I've come up with some good ones for him, but I can't use them if you understand what I'm saying. So Pat Anger tomorrow, a lot throughout the week as well. So welcome back from the Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's show, and we'll be back with a brand new show coming up on a Wednesday edition of OTA coming up tomorrow. Before we let you go, we want to thank our amazing sponsors for allowing me to do this silly little show each and every weekday right here in the Quad Cities. And have a great Tuesday. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow.